Richard went from a 12 handicap all the way down to a 5. And we did this with two simple adjustments, something in his setup and then a drill in his backswing. As a result, he added 50 yards to his drives. This message was so powerful that I actually printed out and brought the email with me. He says right here, Todd, I'm 67, and after numerous videos from you, I am playing the best golf of my life since you have focused on the experienced golfer. You know who you are. I went to the vertical line driver with the hover, and my playing partners are now 50 yards behind me. All right, that's a true story. So here's what Richard and I talked about. The first thing had to do with the address position, and I call it the hover. Now what I mean by the hover is the driver right here, as you set up, it actually hovers off the ground. Now we're gonna talk about why that's important and then the drill here in just a second. But when you take the driver and it hovers up off the ground, a couple things happen. The first thing is that the driver is the only club that every time you hit it, the ball's in the air. So you wanna subconsciously tell your brain, hey, the ball's in the air, so I wanna actually hit up on the golf ball. I don't wanna hit down on the golf ball. You think about like an iron shot. When we hit a good, crisp, clean iron shot, when we have good contact, ball first contact, we wanna hit down on the golf ball. But with the driver, the one club where the ball's always teed up, we wanna hit up on the golf ball because that maximizes launch, it brings down spin, and gives us more distance, 50 yards in Richard's case. So when you hover it off the ground a little bit, that helps set the tone. Now, there is one really famous golfer, I think he's the best golfer of all time, who hovered every club in his bag. If you know the name of that golfer, put it in the chat, and then also be sure to tell us where you're from and be sure to subscribe to the channel. I mean, give us a thumbs up. Nick, give us a thumbs up. Nick always gives us a thumbs up. Make sure you give us a thumbs up as well. The first tip that Richard had is he just hovered the club off the ground. Now the second thing that happens when you hover the club off the ground is you're forced to bear the weight of the club. When your hands are bearing the weight of the club, it's nice and easy to have a good solid takeaway. Lots of my students, when the club is resting on the ground, they'll tend to snatch it to the inside or they'll drag it too far inside. So let me go ahead and demonstrate it, and then we'll talk about the drill that I gave him to help him pick up those 50 yards. So here's the setup. If you got questions on the setup, we've done a ton of videos on those, check those out. Or also in our book, The Bad Lie, we go through the entire vertical line swing and all the core concepts of the setup. All right, so I got it hovered. That sets the tone. Here we go. All right, I'll take that. That was a little bit off the toe, but it has some really nice pop to it. Now the second thing that we talked about that helped pick up 50 yards for Richard was the backswing. Now this is gonna be a little, I don't want to say controversial, but this is going to be different than what you've heard before, so pay attention to this one. I want you to actually pick up the pace of your backswing. I want your backswing to be faster. You heard me right, I want it to be faster. Now when I first shared this with Richard, he was kind of like, are you sure? Because I always heard you should go long and slow or a slow takeaway, things like that. That's not what I wanted for Richard because he wanted more clubhead speed. The sooner we get this going, the faster we get it going, the easier it is to increase and maintain that clubhead speed through impact. So here's the drill that we did for that. I said, all right, Richard, put your feet together, put the club out in front like this, okay? Now what I want you to do, and there's two steps to this drill, so work with me on this. So the first step is just to take it right here, swing it back, and then step forward. All right, everybody see, let me do that again. Feet together, club in front, swing it back, and step forward. Now what that does by putting the club in front is it gives us more time for the club head to swing and create some club head speed. The first couple times you do it might feel a little bit awkward. Let's work on the next step in this drill. The next step is to just do kind of the reverse. All right, put it in front, but when you swing it back, step this way. All right, so here we go. In front, step, and through. Now remember the first one was feet together, swing it back, step forward. The second part of the sequence was club in front, but step away. Now why do we do that? Why do I have you step forward? And then why do I have you step away? Because that's how you're loading. That's how you load the golf swing. There are 3 power sources in the golf swing. We talk about this in the book, in The Bad Lie. And as an experienced golfer, one of those sources is by far the easiest to replicate as we get older. It's this loading from side to side. So let's walk through the whole process. Feet are together, clubs in front. Little step this way, boom, through, do a couple of those, go the other way. Okay, now we've got the feel just like Richard had. You get set in there, you hover the club, load the trail, load the front, and you're gonna increase your club head speed. Now that we've increased your club head speed, check out my next video. And if you wanna personally work with us on your golf game, check out vlscoaching.com.